What's up guys, it's Talon here. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at how you can improve your solo cash cup performance by analyzing one of NAE's most consistent players, and that is Blake. But before I get into this VOD review guys, if you do enjoy my content or find what I'm telling you helpful, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. Also, if you wish to use my code in the Fortnite item shop, that code is Talon.fn. But without further ado, let's just jump right in. Alright guys, as you can see on the screen we have Blake's POV. He is actually going to start this video off in endgame, and actually surprising, no eliminations up to this point, showing that Blake plays these cash ups very placement oriented, and that's exactly what you need to do. So we're going to take a look at what allowed him to dominate most of the end games and end up allowing him to get second in the cash cup. Let's take it off here. You see this opponent rotating in. Importance of making sure you get established in zone earlier rather than later, and this is going to actually result in a free elimination. Notice he's getting picks. Very good loot, very good mats. It's not a super crazy stack game, only 27. The games are going to get more stacked as we go further and further into this VOD review. Right here, smart decision, right? So someone on the same layer, it's just a little thing to talk about. He tries to bully him off the layer. The guy ends up creating a lot of space in hard mats. No reason to continue waste spraying. So what does he do? He goes, okay, I'm going to cut the angles off. Okay, I'm going to block and make sure he blocks off so that opponent cannot really worry about him. Notice this person open tarping wildly. He's going to end up getting lobby focus, and he ends up getting elimination. Good awareness all around right here. He's going to try a drop down attempt right here, but he never overcommits to anything. Why? He's 4-3-5. He doesn't need to worry about anything. He gets a favorable zone, and so he smartly is going to sit up here and kind of pressure this opposite height because he's going to want to take it. So he's going to decide to go ahead. He's going to use this tree as cover. The lobby isn't that great because there was easy opportunity for that opponent to have high ground. Didn't have it. This opponent's building out of wood. He shoots him out smartly, and this ends up being a free high ground. He's going to able to save a ton of materials this way. He's looking all around for picks, but decides to prioritize rotation. He doesn't want anyone to get super ahead of him and take high ground from him. He's not really getting focused, not making a ton of noise. He's going to go over. Now he cracks this opponent here. He's actually going to decide to full send. Why? Look at his mats. He has no mats, so it's a good decision to go full send. I'm surprised he didn't crouch through here to get, but he ends up getting the elimination anyways. Keeps up height. He doesn't get a lot of mats out of it, actually. But top 10 already, and a little bit of a mistake here going back into the zone for the floppers when he could have had them originally, but only one, so it wasn't even really worth it. But because zone kind of pulls back on his old builds, he's actually doing pretty well. He's got the flame bow, shooting any wood that he sees, just tons and tons of pressure. You hear the dub shotgun. And now, so the VOD gets muted. Unfortunately, he live streamed this on Twitch. Maybe had some copyright issues, so we're not going to be able to hear the end game. He's going to end up, I believe, getting second or winning this game if I can't remember correctly. He's kind of fast forwards him to height, and you get a nice little spray through right there. He drops down to get what little mats he can. He has 500 mats, a lot of materials for end game. I don't know what ends up happening, but he ends up getting third, I believe. He actually ends up not winning. He kind of skips through this portion. I don't blame him. Let's go into game number 2. Not much to talk about there. We didn't get to see a lot of it. Dude, the muted VOD. He wanted that to be as short as possible. He lands at Shark, which is I'm a big proponent of. That has this bunker chest here. Easy off-spawn spaz. And that's a free 50 pot.
Virginia, I don't care.
He said he'll take that. He recently moved to Virginia and then moved back. Now, good attempt here at pre-fight damage when the opponent actually sees him, and he gets no.
I threw, bro.
He threw. This is a good recognition that the opponent's on wood. It's a nice little 13. Now, opponent kind of scuffs his edit out, and then having the spaz. Good crosshair placement finishes the fight incredibly fast. He's going to have a lot more eliminations this game. You see the AR displaying right here. A nice little 46 crack that tells the opponent he's about 150 max. Goes for a block off. He plays this. We're going to go over this fight because he plays this fight very cautiously and safe. Look at the crosshair placement, trying to attempt for pre-fires, reading the opponents. He's not over-aggressing or doing anything crazy, not trying to take walls, trying to let the opponent make the mistakes. Same thing. Right there, doesn't get the wall, but hasn't double swing once. Pickaxe baits. He wants the opponent to edit out on him because he'll not be able to finish. He gets the job right there. See, and he finally gets that pre-fire. Hits again. Now the opponent is incredibly weak. He tries to continue to pressure, but bad reload management with the AR is going to allow this push to stop. He decides to take one mini. So he goes for a protected wall take right there. And then he gets it. So the only time he double swing when he was up on the left side, what's called an Arkham peak. Basically, it's where you take the wall from the top left side. But no double swings. Now this is a common thing in solos. It's kind of scummy, but it's a good way to get a free elimination or pickup you need. It's basically playing like a rat, and you sit here and wait for someone or to enter a building or do something, and you get a nice little free 170 crack in the water, and he ends up getting spray through damage. And a free refresh. Now we go into zone. This is much more stacked, as you can see, 48 individuals. Now this play is a little bit perplexing. This opponent may have been just utter shambles. 64 shield he was. TT9 Lewis, GG's. I don't think that's even his server. I'm not sure. But we fast forward into this end game here. You're going to see only having 250 mats, but him staying ahead on dead side too. He's going to have all this low ground. Notice he's so alone. He claims a lot of this space. It's going to be super easy. He gets a nice little pickup. Harpoon, we talk about it. Mr. Savage VOD review, if you've been watching the channel. Harpoon's your best friend for this season, especially when there's very limited movement. He drops bigs for one flop, which I thought was pretty interesting. But what he's going to end up actually doing, good crack. And this is what controlling all that space is. He's going to sit here, make sure he harpoons all the mats, take the flop, and then retake the bigs. He decides to drop harpoon. He feels like he's not going to get any use out of it anymore. He's still holding on this dead side. Look how much space he's claiming for himself. He doesn't have a crazy amount of mats, around 30 builds to play with. But him being on low ground claims a lot of space. Low ground can be very good if you have the mats to maximize it. Sees this opponent back there, fries him off shield. The opponent must have had fish, because I believe he actually survives. Doing a good job of protecting himself from above. Opponent just jumps in low. You see what ends up happening if you play low on solos with mats. Most people that are fighting you are absolutely shambles on health, mat, shield, or whatever it is, and you can get a lot of free pickups. We've seen just a couple in this particular engagement. He uses what mats he gets from the refresh. Rock a double AR, which is pretty interesting. This opponent actually hits him pretty good. Hits him 101. Opponent he's fighting has done a really good job of surviving this long. Tries to pre-fire that. Doesn't get it. He reads the breakthrough right there and gets another pickup. See, opponent shambles on low ground. Now he's going to sit here, kind of play through the builds. But it's very difficult to win these on low ground. Good map knowledge right here too, to just get through the doors and get out quickly instead of breaking through. Has about 6 builds to play with. He's going to go opt for a mini, drop the other assault rifle. And then he gets one pumped. But you'll take that again. Have a 3rd place and a 2nd place. 2 really good placement games. Like you see, 58 points already. Pick this fight up into stealthy. Now this is going to be a good example of just biding your time. What I mean by biding your time is not panicking, even though your situation is not that great. The opponent has a spaz. You have a makeshift. You don't have a ton of materials. You don't have a ton of ammo. But he never panics. There's no panic on his face. There's no panic in his vocal cords.
Probably a spaz, bro.
He tries to maybe look for a disengage, but notice how he's not crazy building for height. He realizes he only has 400 mats, so he's not trying to push anything. Now he only has 2 shots left in his shotgun. Tries to go off to the side, doesn't get it. Slowly, and then the opponent disengages somewhere. You're going to talk about how weird that was to Blake.
Why take a fight and then drop?
I said, why take a fight and then drop? Only 2 shots. This is just going to be... This is where you have to realize you have to get in the mindset. It's like, okay, I've got to... He gets that 49. He has no more shotgun ammo. Gets a huge spray through. Good recognition. The opponent just kind of...
I had no shotgun ammo. That kid is so bad.
You just got to capitalize. No panic, right? No panic even with no shotgun ammo. That's just good keeping your head about you. We see, fast forward to this end game. He's up ahead on zone again. 800-ish mats. There is Surge in this game. A huge AR beam doing really well. Apologize, guys. There was an ad. Let's continue. You're going to see him get a nice look back. This was what being ahead in Super Stat games can get you as well. You see 99 damage. He's joking young harpoon. Like I said, having a harpoon there would have been very, very nice. Would have given him probably at least 300-ish mats. Opponent absolutely cracks him right here, but he has 700 mats. So you don't want to. The worst thing you could do in solos is die with materials. He's now behind zone as well. Gonna fast forward to a little bit later in the zone. Good cone right here. And then he's gonna full send it, get the rest of the materials, and this actually kind of gives him a free high ground, which he probably didn't realize, but he sees anything in wood, he's gonna fire flame bow at it. He likes carrying the flame bow. It's a little bit different strategy. It's good for end games for being incredibly annoying. When most people are shambles on wood end games, it makes sense to carry. Kind of grief low ground. AR ambo is looking horrendous. It's also probably part of the reason why he's using so much pressure with a flame bow. I think in Blake's mind, he's playing for at least a second place. He wants everyone to die down below him. There's not going to be anything too much that can challenge him other than the dub shotgun at this particular moment in the game. This is 8th zone, I believe. It is 8th zone. So anything Woody's seen, he's just pressuring with a flame bow. Why? Because he doesn't have a ton of AR ammo to look for shots and opportunities. He kind of wants to sit there and let everyone fight. See if he can get a pickup. Gets a nice little shambles pickup right there. Drops on the mats. Gets a little bit of a refresh of wood. Opponent goes for it. Cracks that particular shield. Almost loses high ground. Beautiful job right there. The opponent he's fighting is actually really, really good. But he's going to be gifted high ground as the opponent falls down again. He has no mats though. Drops, gets a crack. The opponent takes the shotgun from him. It's going to be such a good read from Blake right there as he edits down and he actually ends up finishing, winning the fight. It's kind of unfortunately what you want to do in that situation is you want to stay on high ground as long as possible. You got a little bit challenge fell. Things got a little bit awkward, but fortunately able to capitalize and still end up getting the win. We're going to pick up into this end game here. Not a ton of builds, but basically recycling old tarps as he can. Gets a nice little shambles pickup on someone 56 HP. He gets another max pull. Cracks. Decides to he's playing Flopper Gang right now. This is a chapter 1 strat. He has very, very limited mats. What he wants to do, one of the reasons why this is so good to do, look at his mats, right? So 47.96, look at this rotate. No way he's going to be able to make it. So here's what his plan is. His plan is to sit and storm, take as many floppers as possible, let their tarps and tunnels to be able to develop, so then he can go forward with what shambles mats he has. Boom, he plays flopper, he uses all his floppers. Look at that, gets a nice little pickup. 300 mats to work with. There's already tarps and tunnels for him to use. Doesn't want to opt for height there. Surprised he didn't go for a Metro Classic in, maybe because he didn't have information. Fantastic, gets a nice little peanut butter on threats. And look, more pickups. The flopper play working out incredibly well. Covers his back. Decides to drop to low ground. It's a kill on an OA player. Or maybe not. An OA grinder. Gets to dead side immediately. Look at the mats from all the refreshes. That flopper play being huge. He claims a ton of space on low ground and on dead side. This is absolutely flawless and fantastic on Blake's part. He's played this endgame almost perfectly. About as well as you can ask for. Gets the opponent drop down. Fantastic. Gets a kill on Mars. Gets more and more fly. Now he's got 3 floppers. He could sit here and tank zone all, just repeat the same type of process. He's going to go up. He scuffs an edit, so he decides to opt for a heal first. It's a smart thing to do. He's still on this dead open side. Look how much space he has. Good recognition that the opponent's right there. Unfortunately, reload management cost him just a tad. Look at his mats, 500. Looking for whatever opportunities he can. Ends up getting the... on maybe a TNA player, not sure, but he drops down. That's such a good game. That was a flawless. I think that was my opinion of this VOD review is the best that we saw. Just beautiful, beautiful uses of Flopper. He gets 3 impacts and then gets ahead, uses all of his mats, and ends up clutching up a 2nd place. Really great stuff for Blake.
Oh my god.
Alright, we see another off-spawn fight at Shark. 0 mats, so it's an aim duel at this point. And 2 nice shots right there with a makeshift. Free elimination. 47 half and half. He's gonna Stinkfish. Getting some tags. Love that he's playing this angle right here. And he's gonna end up actually getting an elimination with the Stinkfish. Gets gifted a gold scar because of it. Look at his mats. Oh, full boxes his opponent, but it does get out. Gets a beautiful 1 pump on that opponent, double swinging. He's on dead side again. He's going to continue to drop the low ground. Low ground is really good when you have... Obviously, it's down a mountain, so he's going to be dropping, but low ground is really great when you have mats and you're ahead. But he sees all that free space down there. I think it's going to attract him to go down there. Plus, he's got people funneling from behind. Going to take time to get heals off and then decide to go. Harpoon is great also for kind of just spamming through builds if you get stuck, if you don't want to have to worry about layer changes. Nice. And then he gets beautiful and nice and ahead. Good conserve tarp. Because he's on dead side, only has to use 2 mats. Maybe looking a little bit for height right there. Tries to harpoon the loot, doesn't end up getting it, but ends up getting a 75 crack, and then he's going to eventually drop again as it continues just to pull max. Just looking back for anyone in his tarp. He misses. Gets a huge 172 crack. But notice how he doesn't even cycle it, right? He's still more worried about zone. He has 500 mats, doesn't want to die because of that. Getting over aggressive. That's a lot. I think that happens to a lot of almost most players sometimes. They get so excited for that kill when his opponent's 28 HP. Kills the same stocky person again that he eliminated from last game. And he's pretty much gifted a high ground just by waiting it out. He's going to reconnect using wood because that's all he's got left, but he's going to have a high ground, and high ground is going to net him a lot of placements. Opponent tries a little bit to go for it, gets a nice 36, but the opponent doesn't end up cycling him for it, so he has 15 builds to work with. But the beauty, there isn't a lot of things that at this point in the match that are going to grief Blake and get high ground taken from him. Still only 7 builds to work with, but his entire goal is to either get an elimination and then harpoon mats or see what he can find. Fantastic. That's why harpoon is so good. Gets gifted another opponent running at the harpoon where he wants to be. He's doing a great job of cracking. Same thing. Nearly ends up dropping himself down. It's a little bit refresh of mats, like I said. Harpoon is your absolute best friend this season. It's another elimination on someone just going up. Now he's got a little bit more to play with. It's another elimination. Vod gets muted again. So we get to see him drop down. It's in a 1v1, no mats. Opponent ends up dying to Storm. Really great job. And he played that incredibly well. He got to dead side, saved his mats, got gifted a high ground. Now we're going another elimination or another engagement at Stealthy. Really great crosshair placement, good aim. Makes this fight incredibly good start off for Blake. He nearly dies to fall damage. You can see how bad the servers are. Even on... Just good recognition of a drop down. Hits again. He's going to then drop him again. Opponent's not really supporting himself well. And then he ends up getting a nice shotgun elimination. And we move into this endgame. 39 and first moving. 2-0 on materials, but he's so far ahead. Now this is so sketch. Fortunately, he's able to get out of there. This is why low ground can be your best friend. There's so many old builds to recycle.
My heart just dropped.
He said his heart just dropped. Yeah, that's not the situation you want to be in. He doesn't have to use a ton of materials, a bunch of old builds for him to work with. He goes, nah, not worth it. Gets in right here. He's in a good spot. try and maximize this placement. He's only sitting here at 22 builds. He is going to kind of make a gigantic mistake, like he said, that's going to cost him first place. Beautiful, good attempt right there, doesn't get it. He gets a very, very favorable zone.
I'm getting every zone.
And he can then, all this congestion on low ground is going to be excellent. Doesn't want to go for anything. Only has 9 builds though. He's trying to sit here and look back for any particular pickoffs. That was a huge missed opportunity right there. That could have been a free elimination. And then he goes for the medkit after taking 1. Now here's the problem. So here's the problem. The only reason why I don't like this particular play, medkit play, I don't mind it, but the reason that's going to cost him here is he's on low ground. And so being on the back of low ground means there's tons and tons and tons of congestion. You're never ever going to be on low ground in a super stacked game in 8th, 9th, 7th, 8th, 9th zone and there not be a lot of congestion usually. Especially if it's built in old areas. So like he gets his medkit off no problem. He doesn't do that incorrectly. It's just, look at the thing. Look how much.
I threw.
And he said he threw. And it's just, there's no opportunity for him to get through. There's too much congestion for him to go through, right? And so that's what ends up happening. Just a tiny little bit of mistake may have cost him first place there. I think if he continues to play a little bit more ahead and maybe get into an area where a different layer where it's not so much as congestion, maybe like a mid-ground layer, but where he was, I don't know if the medkit play was the best play. He could have probably stayed ahead, recycled as much. That could have been an alternate play. You're going to hear him talk about it for a little bit. Let's just hear what he said.
I knew it, bro. I knew right whenever I started popping though, it's gonna get buried.
Yeah, he said, yeah, he had no choice. He had to commit to it or he's dead either way. So, great stuff from Blake, the rotational knowledge. And this kind of showed me, too, that you don't need that huge 20-kill elimination game that's going to just carry you to the top. Like, normally when most of these solo cash cups, you need that first game of 20 bomb. Like, you don't need that. There's so much placement to be had. If you consistently play for endgame in this meta, you're gonna be able to be successful without having to rack up, double-digit eliminations. I don't think there was any. There was a couple 7-8 kills, but there was no double-digit eliminations in this VOD review. And just it's a great. Blake is a great player to watch, to learn how to just rotate, manipulate endgame zones, play endgames out incredibly well. We saw a lot of consistent placements. That's how he got second. He got second also, I believe, most in the first cash or the last cash cup of last season that I VOD reviewed. So I always enjoy watching Blake. I hope you guys learned quite a bit of how to play endgame and how to look for picks and how to manipulate zones in your favor. Even if they aren't the most favorable, just make sure that you use your loot. And as you saw harpoon planes, you saw floppers. Use different types of metas that can help just extend these games you get higher placement. But that is going to do it for today's VOD review, guys. I hope that you did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. And I hope I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.